And it says we're live.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Hello, Joel, Sarah.
Good Lord.
People are jumping on quickly today.
5 of them. What?
That's
6 of them.
1 little, 2 little, 3
Yeah.
little.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's like Custard, Little Bighorn. There's so many of them.
Yeah. Well,
Now we're updating.
hey, RK. It's freaking cold up here.
Yeah. Yeah.
It finally broke 30. We had snow already today that was not
It was not
forecast.
forecast. Massively disappointed in that one.
Ice all over in Oklahoma, and it caused me a freaking second lieutenant and corporal moment. After we watched this Lexus slide through the intersection, the manager's assistant, who's sitting behind me in the minivan I'm driving, speaks up, and she says, quote, "I can't drive on ice. I never have." Oh boy.
Child, it's a little late for that statement.
We're an hour and a half out from the office. The corporal's got to teach you how to drive on ice. Oh boy, watch closely, Julie dear. And I start demonstrating it. We get into the office, we get her in a vehicle. I made sure I took her phone number just in case, and then I took off just ahead of her so I could keep an eye on her. At some point I get a call. Hey, what do we do about gas when we're driving somewhere? Why? Because I'm on E. You couldn't think to tell me this before we left the frickin' parking lot? Pull in up ahead on the left. Oh.
Hey, RK, 68, and shut up down there. RK says it's 68 and sunny there.
I don't care.
Yeah.
It just made me just sit there and just,
And Dawn made it.
Yay.
Oklahoma City is still in the teens, just like Roman Polanski.
Yep. Oh,
Oof. Oof.
I did have a request for 71 in Chickamauga. You can take your Chickamauga and stick it somewhere, hillbilly. I did have a request from,
I can't feel my toes.
yeah. Hey,
Chickamauga.
yeah, Don, we're in the same boat. We finally got out of the 20s earlier. To talk about Doctors Without Borders. However, comma, I've never encountered them because they didn't come into being until the 1990s.
Did myself?
Doctors Without Borders.
Médecins Sans Frontières.
Yeah.
Really? Because
Yeah.
I could have sworn I was running across them in Africa.
I do remember.
I gotta check that. Hang on a second.
Okay. I do remember doctors back in the 70s and 80s when we were on deployment. Yeah, supposedly they were formed in 71. But the ones that I encountered, I remember were volunteers. That was when we were doing in the Navy. A lot of times we would adopt a orphanage or a children's home or something, and we'd go in and do the painting and some of the other stuff with them, try to get them up to speed. And the doctors we encountered there were volunteers. I don't remember who they were with, but by and large.
Right after Biafra. That's
Oh,
why I
okay.
remember them. That's why I remember them.
But the ones that I do remember were pretty good, and they were short term. They'd be out there for 3 or 4 or 5 months. But I also remember, for example, my cousin was involved with Lions Club, and they did the vision programs all over the world. And they would have doctors that would volunteer to go down and do vision checks in many of the third world countries. So I think by and large, they do a good job.
Mm-hmm.
And they're one of the better rated charities.
They are.
I like them.
Yeah.
But my remembering of them was they were very naive.
Well, yeah, they're doctors.
I mean, even worse than that.
Oh.
They weren't as busybody as a whole bunch of other folks that came through Nigeria were.
Yeah.
They didn't get off, and by get off, I mean in every sense of the word, on social issues or whatever the wrong Peace Corps was up to. That they went into villages and helped people.
Well, you got to differentiate between them and Peace Corps. That's two separate balls of wax.
You got the hippie Peace Corps, aka the wrong Peace Corps.
Yeah.
And you got the high and tight Peace Corps, aka the aviator glasses Peace Corps. We like the aviator glass Peace Corps. We don't like the hippie Peace Corps.
Yeah.
What's the aviator glass Peace Corps?
CIA.
They're not CIA. They'll tell you they're not CIA.
Yeah, right.
Oh, you mean those lovely, charming young gentlemen from Virginia and other
Yep.
points over there?
With the high and tights, the aviator glasses.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes. My mother and father all the time.
Yeah.
Are those the ones that are supposed to be delivering us a pallet of AKs and a couple of Toyota Hiluxes and a freaking
Yes.
thing of cash?
We like those Peace Corps guys. The hippie ones, the stinky hippie ones. No, we don't like those.
Now, Sarah Clithrow wants to know if you remember Desiree being prog or woke.
What the hell is Desiree?
I mean,
Who?
Don Ray Ammon?
I don't know.
I don't know. No answer.
And
Yeah,
to all of y'all that
no
are
context.
getting ready to plant stuff and harvest stuff, must be nice. And the other Sarah says it's going to get below freezing where they are overseas, so they're going to have a lot of fun.
It's gonna be below freezing for at least part of the day. For 4 days, it's not going to get above freezing.
Yeah.
We're in North Texas. It's not supposed to do this.
Oh, Desiree, Utah.
No. Not to my knowledge.
Has something to do with the Mormons. Who knows?
Oh, okay.
Not my job. Sitting here watching the idiocy in Congress today, specifically in the Senate.
I'm about to say you're gonna have to be a lot more specific. Though.
Yeah, well, there is
That's
that.
like saying there's stink in a pile of bull manure.
And was rather interesting statement made by one of the lawyers. And that was that the Democrats' versions of democracy and freedom are significantly different than what the Republicans are.
The Democrats' versions of democracy and freedoms bear a striking resemblance to the ideas of democracy and freedom promulgated by the United Soviet Socialist Republics.
Yeah.
I just like that. And Sarah, no, Deseret, Utah is generally a pretty decent place. It's out in the country. It's about what you'd expect from Utah in the country.
Joel, you are in Virginia. Yeah, it snows at all there. They're going to have a snow day.
I'm wondering if we weren't,
Virginia.
if the schools weren't still COVID stupid, we'd probably have a snow day today.
Actually, we probably still will have them. We've had them this year,
Oh,
or this school year. If it looks like it's too dangerous to drive, they will send out a call. Hey, you can't drive your kid to school today. Therefore, we're having a snow day, which is kind of odd and annoying all at the same time
yes.
because
Having snow days on distance learning is just really weird.
well, remember the schools not only said you could choose between distance and in classroom. This semester out here, at least, they said any students who are falling behind in distance learning in X amount of criteria had to come in and go back to brick and mortar.
Good.
And
Good.
it's frustrating only because you don't have any option for parents that live in and around the school to just walk Timmy and Jamie to school. You have to drop them off in your vehicle
Why?
Ah,
because of COVID protocols.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah.
You can't just show up at the school like I used to and just pick up Johnny just on foot. I can't do that anymore, even though he literally is around the corner from the school. It takes me 55 seconds to get from my apartment to the school.
All right.
So-
I know, I've timed it.
Sarah says some moron columnist for the Deseret News wrote about how being colorblind is problematic.
Oh, yeah, those idiots.
Yeah, it's hard to drive if you can't tell just the red light and the green light.
Exactly. And it's a matter of,
Oh, different colorblind. My bad.
Yeah.
yes,
My bad.
this is
They-
a case of progressives not liking the fact that the rest of us who choose to get along with our lives and don't give an iota of a damn between dark green Marines and light green Marines have better things to do with our time than worry about somebody's color.
Yeah.
Again, my middle fingers are upright to that bigot.
Yeah.
They can come bite my ass.
Yeah, RK, I can remember being in Northern Virginia, and if WTOP ever mentioned them, yeah, the grocery stores got cleaned out of milk, bread, toilet paper, and eggs.
Yep.
Yeah,
Why?
You add beer to that, and you got North Texas.
Yeah, but why is it always, regardless of where it is, bread, milk, and toilet paper?
Because
Sandwiches,
that's what Grandma did.
toilet paper is a daggum handy thing to have, and milk for the kids.
If I wanted this kind of weather, I would have gone back to the Panhandle. I swear to God.
The Panhandle decided it loved you so much it moved out here.
No kidding.
Yeah,
We have enough of Amarillo blown out this way that we qualify as a Panhandle now.
yeah. And Sarah says she got 4 to 5 inches up where she is, and the roads were interesting on the way in.
Is she sure about that? Because women have been getting lied to about 4 to 5 inches for a long time.
John, no, just
He's-
no.
He's on a roll today, isn't he?
Yeah, and no, French toast is not a thing. I'm sorry.
Yes, it is. Tastes delicious. Especially
Because-
when you make it as a casserole.
And Jason said because too much French toast can give you the runs. Okay,
All righty then.
moving on.
We'll just let that one flop on the table for a bit.
Yeah. Well, we get both Lubbock and Amarillo, RK.
We get what?
They blow in.
Yeah. You wake up one morning tasting caliche for
Yeah.
the first time in 10 years. Oh, we've had a windstorm.
Yeah. And RK says we're insulting the Panhandle.
Oh,
We're part of the
I
Panhandle.
miss the Panhandle. I love the Panhandle. I just don't like the winters up there.
Yeah.
First time in Texas I ever heard a tree explode because it got too cold.
Yeah. Yeah, that is an interesting sound. Especially when you come back from other places where the natives are shooting at you, and tends to provoke a interesting response.
There was
Yep.
around Clarendon in the eastern side of the Panhandle was a real big fruit tree part of the Panhandle. A lot of peaches. Monroe has a huge peach orchard up there. Apples, peaches, all
Yeah.
sorts of fruit trees. And I was doing patrol down there about 4 a.m. after a blue norther had come through, and it was 20 below. People don't understand that Amarillo does get blizzards.
Yeah.
And I'm going along when an apple tree decided that
Let
it
go.
was done. And I almost had to go home and clean out my shorts.
And RK is now getting pedantic on us.
Oh, God.
No, you're not. You're off the Cap Rock, not the Panhandle.
Well,
Yes,
fine.
be that way.
Actually, the Panhandle also includes the bits that aren't on the Cap Rock, aka the Cap Rock breaks.
Yeah,
Because Clarendon, which is part of the Panhandle, is in one of the canyons between
Yeah.
chunks of Cap Rock.
yeah. The friend of mine sent me a video from Mystic, and it was a drone overflight. And apparently it was right after an ice storm because there was not anything moving anywhere in Mystic, Connecticut.
Oh, I bet.
I mean, not a person. You did not see a single person, not a single vehicle, nothing moving.
It's Connecticut. They'll get taxed if they get out of their houses.
Yeah. And I looked at that and I sent back and I said, yeah, that was an ice storm.
Yeah.
And he sends back question mark, question mark, question mark. I said, there are no people. Guarantee you there was an ice storm and everybody was done.
I like when Panhandle gets a pogo nip. Thing about the ice you get from a pogo nip or ice fog is it is slick.
Yeah.
And deer and horses will break their legs getting
Oh,
up on pogo nip rime. And man, you get a pogo nip through there and nobody moves till the sun comes out. They'll break something.
Well, it does the same thing up in the high Arctic too. Except the snow eventually gets chewed up enough that it gives you decent traction.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we were doing up in Colorado because they weren't plowing the main road. So we were running the dirt roads because they still had traction.
Mhm.
But 55 miles an hour, kind of dancing a little bit.
Caprock Dirt Road or Caliche Road. This had a little bit of rain, so it got a little bit of mud and then froze.
Yeah.
That's good traction.
Yeah.
That's spiky. The ice crystals are spiky. You get a hell of traction on that stuff.
I just finished reading the article that Sarah's referring to. It's a fluff article written by a woman who's sitting there trying to give out her allied strength and position on how much she loves and appreciates the colored folk community.
Oh, God.
And she just goes off virtually. I mean, you might have just said the checklist. That's exactly what she's pulling from for everything she uses in this fluff piece.
Yeah.
I want to call her by name, Holly Richardson. I hope if you ever hear this, you are a vapid twat. Put your pen down, put your paper down. You're useless. You're no better than that couple that recently just got busted for saying that their adopted 3-year-old white daughter has white privilege before they beat her to death.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. The woman who just won Food Network's Worst Cooks in America contest,
Uh-huh.
she and her husband just got arrested over the weekend. She was sitting there putting on social media about how her adopted 3-year-old white daughter had white privilege. Her daughter was found dead, and it was due to blunt force trauma injuries, approximately 14 of them.
Oh.
She and her husband are arrested on charges of homicide, and she's probably going to go to prison.
Who's this woman?
I didn't even bother to remember her name. I will not disgrace my lips with her name, except to say, I hope she rots in hell. Holly Richardson, you're no better than her. Burn in hell.
And Raptor says, my hometown snow removal plan was as follows. Waiting for the snow to melt, then salt and plow.
Yeah. No kidding.
Well, that would assume that you had plows, period. And no, Sarah S., I'm not going to argue with anybody over geology. That is not my expertise. Although I do have to tell a funny story about geology. Raptor says toss them both in gin pop.
Yep, I'm down.
Back in the early 1980s, when I was going through flight training, they made us go to Mather Air Force Base to learn how to be navigators. The interesting part was it was a mixture of Navy and Air Force instructors. And one of the Air Force instructors was apparently a failed backseater Air Force type major who did not get sent back to instruct in fighters. Instead, he got sent to instruct in basic nav. So he was not happy anyway.
Really useless.
Yeah. And he, first day of class, promptly throws up these 3 slides and says, anybody that can recognize these can have the rest of the week off. This was on a Wednesday. And it was 3 radar shots. One of them was the ice edge at Point Barrow, Alaska. One of them was the roller coaster at Santa Cruz. And the third one was Mount Rainier. And there were 4 of us in that room that got them all. And we happened to all be Navy. So we were accused of having been given the answers.
Because God forbid the Navy ever be smart or outsmart the Air Force.
Yeah, because there was no possible way we could have known what it was. Well, the problem was I was a Westpac sailor, P3s. I had seen all 3 of those. Jimmy Seegers, who also got it, was a warrant officer 4 who had seen all 3 of those. The third guy was a Coast Guard C-130 and Jayhawk crewman who had seen all 3 of those. And the 4th one was an A6 air intercept officer who had seen all 3 of those pictures. But we were all Navy, so we got accused of cheating.
The Coast Guard admit to being Navy?
Well, he was in the Navy as an
okay.
ensign.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
We called him Herc because he This guy worked out like mad
Ah.
because his wife wasn't there, so he was working out every day.
At least she knew he was being a good boy. He came back built like a tank.
Oh yeah, well he was built like a tank when he showed up in Pensacola, but he had been rescued out of Kodiak,
Oh,
two tours.
Bugger that for work.
Yeah, that's where he got his degree, was in Kodiak. He said, well, there goes to shit. I go in and study. Okay.
If it works, I don't question it.
But yeah, that kind of set us on the bad side of that instructor. And it just continued to get worse as the training went on.
As it is wont to do in the military.
And it accumulated with the four of us having all been set in the same trainer. And the trainer broke. So I called a tech. Tech came down. And one of the Navy instructors wandered by and said, yeah, you guys need to move. So we up and moved to a different trainer. They reset everything. He restarted it. And we completed the exercise about 10, 15 minutes later than everybody else. So we come wandering back into the classroom, and this Air Force major, you four flunked. So what? You four flunked. You moved without my permission. Excuse me, Major, you never bothered to come check on us. We were moved because the trainer went down. The technician can verify that. And Lieutenant Schultz from the Navy side can verify that he moved us and restarted us per his direction because you weren't available.
Not like making friends and influencing people.
Well, yeah, there was a problem with that, but I seem to have getting through that school.
It happens.
Yeah, but yeah, we got out of that phase, and thank God got back to Navy instructors. But the yeah, there were some interesting set twos with the Air Force out there. But yeah, we survived it.
As happens.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, those schools are not set up for anybody that's got any experience in airplanes.
Yeah, it's not set for anybody over sixth grade education either.
Yeah. Well, and at the time, I think I had 3,000 or 4,000 hours. Jimmy had about 7,000 hours, and I think Herc had 3,000 or 4,000 hours. And the A6AIO that was going back through had over 500 hours in A6s as an air intercept officer or air intelligence officer with no wings.
Wow.
Because he would fly. He loved to fly.
How do you not have his wings?
He was an air intelligence officer. He hadn't been trained,
Never bothered.
but he was hopping flights. When they used A6s for Texaco a lot of the time, off the carrier.
Yeah.
So he'd hop in the right seat and fly the Texaco.
So let me get that man wings off.
Yeah. Well, sir, the Air Force major tried to have us kicked out of the program. It didn't win. He lost, we won, and he went away.
No.
Broke my heart.
No.
Yeah, you seem so upset about it to this day.
Oh, RK, there's got to be a story. Fort Huaracha and Captain Zumi and Kangaroo.
Fort Huachuca?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was a fun evolution there for a while.
I've heard Tom Rogdenby stories about Fort Huachuca.
Yeah.
And I'll just pass. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's that Army's crap. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I went in the Navy. I didn't want to walk to work.
Well, I didn't want to swim back home.
It's easier
It's
to
kind of a
walk.
long swim.
Yeah, but it's easier to walk back to work than it is to swim a few thousand miles.
Yeah, it depends on your point of view.
Yeah, Huachuca, I don't know about now. It might not even be a base anymore.
No, it's still a base.
Was home of military intelligence. And oh my God, bloody hell.
It still exists. It's still in the middle of nowhere.
Nowhere, Arizona.
And God still hates it.
Yep. Well, I can say that for any military base.
No, you can't.
And Sarah says she liked Fort Huachuca. It was tolerable because we made friends with people who played with swords.
You got to do something.
Yeah.
I hear Fort Huachuca complained about in the same breath that people talk about Yuma.
Yeah. Or 29 stumps.
Yuma is hell.
Yeah.
The Army's military freefall schools at Yuma. Oh my God.
You have such fond memories coming back to you all of a sudden.
Moving on.
Yeah. And
So, what was your least favorite part about jumping out the back of an aircraft?
Hillbilly says, "Oh, I heard it. Ian's getting riled up. His accent cracked."
Not getting riled up.
Oh,
No, I didn't.
everybody. Yeah, Erin says she had a friend who went in the army because dealing with sharks around a down ship was just an unbearable nightmare for him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember
Oh,
one guy decided against recommendations of his gentle sergeant that he wanted to pitch his fart sack in the only clear piece of turf available, which was at the bottom of an arroyo.
oh no.
But it was nice and soft down there. There wasn't any spiky stuff or rocks. So that's what you told. You don't want to do that. He did that. And despite what everybody thinks, it wasn't the water coming through at 3 a.m. It was the tarantulas.
I have had that experience at.
Apparently
Yeah.
that was a tarantula highway.
Yeah.
About 3 a.m., night shift took over.
Yeah.
And I have never seen anybody. No, I've seen one other person unask a fart sack that quickly ever. It was glorious.
Yep.
Philmont Scout Ranch. That happened to me.
Tarantula stampede.
Yes. Screamed like a little girl. I came out of that sleeping bag in about a millisecond.
We
Oh,
were
RK says she was popular because she brought her own McClellan cavalry saddle.
Oh, right then.
That was apparently
She
her
should-
grandfather's.
Should have gone to Fort Sill for that.
Yeah.
we were at 29 Stumps in January, and my gun did not grasp that. Yes, I really knew exactly what I was talking about with regards to 29. I grew up only a couple hours from there. I told them it's going to be cold. Plan accordingly. Nobody believed me. Oh, it's California in January. It can't be that bad.
Oh yeah, Ken.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, Ken.
And my sergeant got so cold one night, he started stripping down so he could throw on the Michelin Man layers. And he had just gotten the pants on. He's thinking life is grand, and we get a call for an FPF mission. Those only stop when FDC finally tells you, go ahead, you're done, or you go Winchester on everything. And for 28 rounds, he was standing there throwing powder in with the warming layer trousers, flak jacket, and Kevlar on. That was all he had. We got done, and we're standing there just breathing because it was a mad rush. We get done, and all of a sudden we hear him just let out a yelp. My nipples! They're so hard I can cut diamonds!
There should have been, after 28 rounds, there should have been enough heat coming off that gun to keep him warm.
Yeah, Richard says, interesting seeing a post horse horse stable rental horse that somebody rented, put the brakes on when a Cab Memorial cartoon popped an 1870 Colt off by his ear at full gallop. I wonder how far he launched that guy.
Oh. Yeah, it depends on how long he kept contact with the cantle before he slipped off.
Yeah. Yeah, Vince, I can vouch for the fact a miserable cold winter and a summer in San Francisco. San Francisco, for those that don't realize it, stays about 50 degrees year round because of San Francisco Bay. Station Moffett Field, we're on the south end of the bay. It's routinely in the 90s, low hundreds. You go up to San Francisco, it's in the 50s, and you're carrying a jacket.
Oh,
Yes.
huh.
People in June and July would go up to Candlestick to the ballpark and be carrying heavy coats in because they were going to freeze their asses off sitting in the stands.
I suppose since the Pacific Coast has got that southbound north that southbound current coming out of the Arctic. I suppose it would be cold, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yes,
Well, it's
it
the
is.
Alaska current comes south as California current.
Yeah, it's got that southbound current out of the Arctic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I suppose it would be cold.
Yep.
It will suck.
But us here in on the Gulf Coast, or if you get down the Gulf Coast, don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and Vince says, yeah, Candlestick right on the bay and cold and wet. Yes.
I miss
Oh.
Chinatown back before it was such a dump.
And Sarah and RK are now comparing notes. Apparently, they have followed each other at various bases.
It's the military.
Yeah.
You do that.
Racha to San Francisco to the Presidio.
It's the military. You do that. Only a limited number of bases.
No, it does get funny though.
Not like opening up your orders and saying, "Where the hell is Camp Ram Ram?"
Yeah. Well, at least there was something on the orders other than go forth and do. Huh?
Right?
Report the officer on duty, Camp Ram Ram. What the f- is Camp Ram Ram? Found out.
Yeah. RK says we call it Fort We Got You. Don says I'll stick to Colorado. I understand crazy weather and know what to expect.
That's Panhandle. I miss the Panhandle. Not the weather, but the Panhandle.
Oh yeah, Richard. Bangkok, Utapao, Cameron Bay. Walk through a monsoon rainstorm and start steaming in your uniform. Yep.
Oh. Nigeria, October.
Yeah.
Where the hell did all this water come from?
Somewhere there's a picture of us paddling across the ramp at Cameron Bay in a life raft
Are you paddling across the ramp?
because we were going flying. And one of the riggers had screwed up and popped a raft inadvertently.
So, because you're Navy,
And it was in the middle of a monsoon.
can't let that opportunity go to waste.
Yep.
Somebody's got to get qualled.
It was only the 7-man, not the 12-man.
Yeah. Folks don't realize that the Army has a Navy.
Yeah.
Um,
Which is actually bigger than the Navy, ship-wise.
Yeah, they got landing craft and such. And somewhere there's pictures taken up from a Kodak disposable camera of 6 long-range surveillance guys, 3 on each side, straddling the sides of a landing craft with oars swiped out of somewhere, paddling like mad, while the NCOIC of the team plays the theme song to Hawaii Five-0 on a kazoo.
And I could guess who the team leader was.
I got in such trouble for that.
I don't know why.
And,
Hell, you can call that PT. That's good upper body work for you.
and RK,
Even I know this.
RK says Panhandle, winter 0600, spring 0900, summer 12 noon, autumn 1800. That's pretty much true.
Yes. One of the few places I've been and I've seen the temperature go from 70 to 20 in 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Texas in the summer was my first introduction to humidity back in 2006.
No kidding.
I showed up in September. That sucked. A
Hey,
lot.
Richard, don't bitch about cotton fatigues. Try wearing a friggin' flight suit over there in that part of the world in the middle of the monsoon season and in the middle of the summer over there.
Had the colonel ask me why the hell I was playing a kazoo. And I said, because I couldn't play the harmonica, which is apparently the wrong answer.
Yeah, we would actually put all of our flight gear in trash bags, tie them closed, and go out on the ramp in swimming trunks and shower shoes, walk to the airplane, and then get dressed on the airplane. Because if you didn't, you were going to be soaking wet.
Yep.
And they were just phasing in the LPAs where they had the automatic inflators on them.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, not good.
Supposedly only inflated in salt water. Supposedly.
Horse. Well, let's bear in mind that sweat is basically salt water.
Yes.
I had one of those buggers go off down in Galveston doing, I forgot what the hell I was doing down there. And out in the bay, and had to wear a life preserver. So it gave me a life preserver. And I didn't realize these, when they're just coming out,
Yeah.
you know, it just looks like straps till you hit the water, and then it's a full on life vest. Lying sacks of monkey nuts. I didn't realize that those things opened about like an airbag in a car,
Yes.
because I turned sideways to ask the person running the boat something and caught a wave and then ate life preserver. And I went over the side because I was startled. And those things don't really work. The early ones didn't work worth a damn.
Yeah. I was on one of our tests out in Westpac off Japan, got caught in some significant weather, and went out to put out a BT, about the thermograph trace. So being smart, I went out between the hangar and the aft part of the bridge. So I wiggled my way through there, and it's about 18, maybe 20 inches wide. So I sidled my way through there. Get out there, got the radio tucked in where I can hear it. And they say, shoot it. So I shoot the thing over the side like I'm supposed to. And I got to sit there and wait for it to spool out. So I'm sitting there waiting for it to spool out. And this wave slaps me. And I had on one of those Mustangs survival suits, which is the same thing, basically a horse collar. And that damn thing popped. And I was stuck. It's like, how the hell do I get? Shit, I can't get out. So I finally got my pocket knife. I was stabbed it and it deflated. Backed myself out. Walked in. I am soaked from head to toe. And the girl that was on, she goes, "What took you so long? What the hell happened to you? Oh my God, the vest. Yeah, I know. Minor problem.
Give me some duct tape. We'll get it fixed."
Right?
It turned out they had not brought any spares.
Duct tape.
So legally, the boat had to head back in.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Just don't tell anyone.
We didn't.
As one should. There's some times where it's appropriate to involve upper management in decisions. There are other times where you keep your mouth shut and get the job done.
Drive on.
Yeah.
Oh, Vince says he worked in Oakland. You were a brave soul to work in Oakland. I don't care if it was 12th and Broad. Oakland Chinatown is great food.
Yes,
See,
it is.
I've never lost anything in California. I need to go back. I've never been there. Don't plan on visiting. And nothing y'all ever say about the place makes me want to go there.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. Raised there. Still not going to go back. Literally, the only thing I have left in that state worth caring about are 3 amps and my grandparents' graves at Rosecrans. Otherwise, I dusted my feet of that state a long damn time ago, and I ain't going back.
Sounds like your dad did too.
Cedar, where the hell did you stop that they offered you a pizza at the gas pump, delivered to the gas pump?
What?
She says, I stopped to get gas, swipe the card, get a question to the pump. Do I want pizza delivered to the pump?
Oh, very civilized.
Imagine if you could get that here in North Texas. It'd be like, would you like tamales delivered to the pump?
Tamales, yes. Pizza, no.
But tamales, like fresh tamales
See,
with salsa verde?
see, if during November through December that can actually happen. I don't, the delivering is some little old lady
I don't care if it's a abuelita
in
and
a
her 3 cousins.
in a battered
Sanford got the answer. Speedway.
speedway. That sounds familiar.
Speedway gas stations.
Yeah, they do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But seriously,
Vince says, only time I ever signed off from a client computer with right in the streets, told to go home. That's Oakland.
yep. It's also where you see things like, oh, hey, let's form up a caravan of cars to go screw with the governor's mansion. And they'll go do the usual car rodeo antics outside the governor's mansion, and that starts in Oakland.
Yeah,
And they'll drive down to Sac and do that.
See,
up to Sac.
Up to Sac.
Not
Same
exactly.
damn thing.
So I'm not exactly sure that's a bad thing. However, still doesn't offset my general dislike for California.
Mm. Yeah, hillbilly burritos from the Roach Coach are always better than anything you're going to get in most places.
No, depending on the Roach Coach.
Yo, the one at 20.
San Diego,
Yes,
Again, not ever gonna go. Don't care.
they were damn
Oh.
good.
Don't,
Oh,
not ever
yes.
go, don't care.
they were delicious. The one at 29 Palms was questionable. You had to look at who was coming around.
Most of the taco trucks, Antojitos,
Yeah.
here at Ichipa, their street tacos are toco.
Yeah. Oh, Vince, you were out there during the Rodney King riots. Oh, that was just fun.
My father had started working for LAPD by then.
Otherwise known as a target-rich environment.
Yes.
Yes. Which
Is John on here?
No, I haven't seen Jonna today.
She's making plans, by the way.
Yeah.
No, for her brief visit during Fool's Gold.
Yeah, I know. Shawarmas from the literal hole in the wall in downtown Doha. Yep.
Again, don't care. It's California.
Yeah, there was a good place that we used to hit in Bahrain.
Mm.
It was Rick's American Cafe.
Yeah. Oh, I've been there.
Yeah, we talked about
Yeah.
that. Yes, there really is a Rick's American
Yeah.
Cafe.
Well, at least there was in the 80s.
It's still there.
Still there?
And there was a Thai place down in the souk that was really good.
That's an odd place. That's an odd place to find a Thai restaurant.
Yeah, well, yeah. But
Yeah.
it was called Monsoon, and it was outstanding.
The Souk in Bahrain?
Yes.
Oh. Souk in Sharjah has some fantastic food places.
And Jesse says, quality of a taco truck is inversely proportional to the amount of English heard in
Oh, no
our
kidding.
near.
Yes.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes. There's one in Duncan that my office, right next to the Enterprise office out there that I have to go to regularly. And they know me on site as soon as I walk up. Quesadilla Supreme? And you've got these two lovely older women in there running it, and they do a fantastic job every time. And my money is always good there. And they're always happy to see me. They don't speak a whole lot of English, but they know they like seeing me show up because I'll pay.
Yeah. And
And
Cedar,
it takes you just a little flirting with them.
and Cedar
Here comes
says,
the
I
meal."
didn't get the pizza.
For gas station pizza is probably second only to gas station sushi on stuff I probably wouldn't try.
Actually, the gas station sushi in Italy was surprisingly good.
I miss gas station musubi in Hawaii.
Okay. Italy and sushi
It's actually not that surprising given
not correlating in my little head.
it's not surprising given the very large ethnic Asian population which moved to Italy in the
Really?
last 200 years.
Yeah.
They've got a fair amount of Chinese and Japanese over there.
I'm kind of shocked.
Now, RK says, a German working out of a closet in the IG Farben building, Abrams, during the 1980s served up Greek food.
Ooh.
And she said, and I'd eat a whole pan of tzatziki for lunch and then go breathe on annoying people.
An hour later, you're starving for power.
Yeah, probably.
The souk in Sharjah is a two-level affair. Really, really weird setup. It's a double decker.
Yeah.
And a lot of the food places are on the second floor. And it's the center of it's open. The second floor is kind of like a balcony around with shops and stuff leading off of it. And there was a Greek / Turkish / Lebanese place. And when I was there in '81, there was a Greek / Turkish / Lebanese.
Was it all run by one family?
All 400 of them. But
Yeah.
yes.
Can you
And,
imagine every time somebody got into drawing over there, it'd sound like the Cypriot War all over again.
and the food there was, oh my God, that was some of the best food I've ever had. They did a chicken sandwich on Lebanese bread.
Yeah.
And it
Ooh.
was, the chicken was garlic lemon. They'd been basted in garlic lemon. And basted and basted and basted and basted. And then he used the fat and drippings were smeared on the bread before they put the chicken on there, like
Yeah.
it was butter or mayonnaise. And I could founder myself.
No, it was
Yeah.
the same way down in Morocco, in Marrakesh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Richard says, fun visiting the Frankfurt PX and seeing Soviet licensed Russian vehicles parked while they shopped.
What?
Yeah, back in the day.
In Frankfurt?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
Oh, wow.
Soviet military liaison teams.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
AKA go get stuff for people back home.
Here's a shopping list.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you get some interesting things for various things over there. The guy that relieved me, Moffat, was a former Army spook
Well,
who had some interesting stories about his location that he worked out of. But apparently they had a little girl in the village had some serious problems, and he managed to get her some medical treatment off the books.
Hmm.
And they gave him a rug that was butt ugly. And I've seen it was about 6 different colors down through it,
Mhm.
and it was named.
That's a 5-digit rug. 6-digit? Yeah.
6-digit, possibly 7.
Dude.
It was hand knotted silk, 12th century, started in the 12th century.
The reason why the colors changed was every time the tribe moved,
Yep.
they used the dyes they could find in the area.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he got a couple other interesting things out of that tour. He said he once traded a box of MREs for a Jeep, Russian Jeep.
Well, I thought I'd say he came out the better end of that deal.
Well, that's what he thought too.
Wait, what generation of MREs? First generation? Yeah, he got the better end of that deal.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if my loathing and dislike for first generation MREs
Yeah.
was due to the fact they were all that bad, because I don't know if they were all that bad. Because of the first gen MREs, I only ever got 3. Either got the beef stew, which was great, or I got the dehydrated meat patties. Because every time I got through the line, because my people went first, when I got through there, the E4s had rat fucked the entire box,
Yeah.
and I got the dehydrated stuff that raccoons wouldn't eat. I know this for a fact because I left a patty pork dehydrated in-flight pre-flight use out,
And they turned it down.
and the raccoons, not only did they turn it down, they took a dump on the driver's seat of my Humvee.
Louis says, we ate in a Lebanese restaurant in D.C. in the 80s, asked to be seated in the non-bombing section.
No, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, Richard, the folks that were assigned in Turkey bought some interesting watches in the local shopping area, depending on what you considered local for the time.
What part of Turkey were they assigned to? That's the question.
Well, if you're from Japan, aren't you always getting bombed?
Yeah. Best conies were from a German stand at the parade ground at Coleman Concern. Get in one of the pizza MREs. No, it's not, Vince. We broke that seal about 3 minutes in. If first generation MREs were pretty okay if you did not add water.
No, they were decent if you added water. However, you were going to pay for not adding water when the op was over with. That's the reason. I don't know how I told people this.
Dr. Pepper and peanut butter.
You saved 1 packet of MRE peanut butter and a Dr. Pepper. And then when you got back to base, you went into the latrine, preferably one that had grunt bars. You sat down, prepared yourself, consigned your soul to the ever after, ate the peanut butter, shotgun the Dr. Pepper, took a firm grip of the grunt bars, and waited.
Yep, almost like prep for a colonoscopy.
Oh,
Also, don't forget to make sure your will has been prepared and the right person you care about is getting your SGLI.
Yeah. Hillbilly, you ain't right. That corned beef hash was some of the nastiest crap I've ever seen.
Yes.
That was worse than the MREs are worse than the stuff you could get out of a can at the store. Really? God.
Because by the time after you've eaten, allegedly there were cookies, or the troops thought they were cookies. The strawberry cookies and peach cookies and fruit salad cookies. And they weren't cookies, they were the dehydrated slabs of fruit.
Yeah.
Yum.
Which hit bottom, and if you got any water, all of a sudden they went boom.
It sucked up all the water, and
Yeah.
it took on the consistency of a high density cinder block. And much like a cinder block, it was not fun offloading it.
Yeah. Yeah, Sanford. I stayed away from the applesauce and the sea rats.
The new applesauce is not bad. They have raspberry applesauce. It's actually pretty decent. They also have mango in there, and it's surprisingly delicious.
I'll pass on that. My time of eating MREs is in the past. Oh, one other interesting note from the Super Bowl or Stupor Bowl. Apparently, some little shit hacked into the water supply in Tampa and tried to kill people.
You're kidding me,
No.
really?
Nope, that's a real thing.
By how do you try to kill people?
Upping the sulfide content in the water from 100 parts per million to 11,100 parts per million, which would have been enough to kill people.
They catch you.
I don't know if they've caught them or not. The other thing that's interesting is the mayor is now coming out of Tampa and saying that she is going to go after the miscreants who refuse to wear their mask in Tampa Bay Stadium.
Oh, eat me.
So I want to know if she's going to arrest both the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because they weren't wearing masks.
I think they got exemptions.
Oh,
Yeah.
lie content. I'm sorry, it was a lie that he upgraded.
They put lye in the water?
Well, you get lye as part of the cleaning compound when the water plant cleans the water.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Hmm.
I did not know that.
Learned something new.
Oh, and RK said she loved your Super Bowl play-by-play.
That's become a yearly thing.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because people were threatening me with bodily injury if I didn't do it this year, because I didn't think people liked it all that much.
Yeah.
I wasn't getting a whole bunch of comments last time. I thought, it's shit that's gotten old. Apparently it hasn't gotten old.
Yeah, Don, if we have to get into your MREs, we're already in trouble. We'll go find something else.
I don't have to eat MREs anymore. I'm not going to eat MREs. I don't have to. I've eaten enough.
You can't make me.
Nope.
My DD214 says
I have,
no.
I have a DD214 says as an adult, I don't have to eat that crap anymore.
Well, then why was I still eating them after I got the DD214?
Because you're you.
Because I got stuck in a friggin' hangar in Thule and everybody else was bowling alley. And Jason says it was a remote hack. So somebody hacked in remotely to the Tampa water supply.
One, whoever's in charge of information technology for the city of Tampa needs to be crucified. I mean, physically, not metaphorically.
Yeah.
And two, they need to find a little bastard that did that and crucify him right next to the IT chief.
Yeah.
I'm down.
If you don't read him, there's a link on my blog to a guy named Borpatch. And he is a real security expert. He does this stuff for a living for the government. So he knows what he's doing. You need to go read him. He puts a lot of warnings up about hacks and other things. And his blog today was a really good one about the securing a smart various smart things in your home. And the bottom line is, anybody that relies on smart gadgets has got to be nuts.
Yep.
I've talked to a lot of folks that are, I mean, they're really good at coding and the internet. And not a one of them has anything smart in their house.
No.
And
Nope.
I was told one time that one of them kept a shotgun, and if anything ever beeped at him when it wasn't supposed to, he was going to shoot it.
Yeah.
Apparently, the Internet of Things is a good way to extirpate the human race.
Well, it's like the so-called joke of, you know, he laughed, she laughed, the toaster laughed, and I shot it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that far away.
Well, we were at Home Depot or Lowe's, or we were at some store that had all mod cons earlier, and they had a Samsung refrigerator that would keep track of what you put in it
Oh, yeah.
and order from your and use your Amazon account to order when you ran out of, say, milk.
Is that the one that got hacked to Pornhub?
Yep.
I don't know. But,
Yes, it is.
Oh
I've-
yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen the screenshots of it.
But not the one in Ichipaw. That to me is insane.
The first generation of those had other problems. They were being manufactured in Pakistan at the time, and they kept blowing up on the users.
Yeah.
No surprise, things from Pakistan go boom unexpectedly.
Well, I keep remembering that restaurant that had really, really, really good IT security, but their ginormous ornamental fish tank
Yeah.
had a Bluetooth
Bluetooth connectivity. Yeah.
thermometer, and the entire place got hacked through the Bluetooth thermometer.
Yep.
Yep.
There will not ever be anything, and except for the phones, and we're getting rid of our smartphones when these are toast, we'll get rid of them. There will never be anything quote unquote smart in my house.
Yeah.
No smart thermostats, no smart refrigerators.
Nope.
I don't care.
Well, I will never do it either. And I know enough about IT to know not to do it.
Same here. I just can't do that.
I understand that there's people that do need a smart home.
Why?
Well, okay.
I mean, the classic example is the smart electrical meters. In California, they did that back, God, 10, 12, 15 years ago now. Within 6 months, they'd already been hacked,
Mhm.
and the criminals would sit there and watch the houses in the high-end subdivisions. And when the smart meters usage dropped down for a couple of days, they knew the people were on vacation.
Right.
They would go in and rob the house at their leisure.
For those of you who don't know, my brother is recovering from fairly severe neurological insult, encephalitis.
Yeah.
And he had to teach himself to read again. And for him, a smart house where he can tell it to do things,
Yeah.
is not a bad idea.
Hell yes, Aaron. I'll go back to a map. I can read a map.
I was taught how to read a map in basic training, which apparently, and this gives me a headache, they don't do anymore. Apparently, they don't teach
We
land
still
nav.
did it over a decade ago when I went in.
That was a decade ago. Apparently, apparently, from what I've been told, and this is just scuttlebutt that may or may not be true. I've been informed that basic training does not teach land nav because you're expected to be taught that at your duty unit.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, Hillbilly, Rand McNally is still probably the best national maps out there.
I love Thomas Brothers for Southern California.
Well, Thomas Brothers is very specific though.
Yes, it was.
And
Maps
those,
go for the Metro Miss.
yeah, those are city maps. They don't usually get outside the major metropolitan areas. Yeah. Yeah, RK, I agree. Sanford needs to teach them how to do those things without it. And I know Sanford knows how to read a map.
I didn't used to. I love military grid reference system.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense to me. And I don't know why it isn't taught in high school. I don't know why land nav using military grid reference system is not taught in high school.
We learned it in the Boy Scouts, of course.
Yeah.
That was 50 years ago.
I had a former chief. He taught us lots of things as Cub Scouts. That was on the list. God bless him.
I hear former chief and taught us lots of things in Cub Scouts, and my mind immediately goes really, really bad.
Yeah, that would be your problem.
Well, I mean, how many kids today know north, south, east, west? How many kids today can walk outside and tell you which direction it is?
I don't know.
I can do it at night. I have a lot of trouble during the day. I can do it at night.
I mean, based on the manager I had today, she'd somehow never driven on ice, and she's over the age of 20.
RK, that may have been because what I put up, I didn't actually give the location of where we were going to be.
There for the longest time, I don't wear a watch anymore. For the longest time, I wore a watch with hands so that I could navigate. Yeah.
Still,
Because if you have a watch with hands and a stick and sunlight, you can find
Yeah.
east and west, and then north and south.
yep. Well, I know you can, Dawn. We've seen you do it. But you were raised in the country, so you had to learn it. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. They had the wrong address, the wrong map plot on the Cody.
Oh, wow.
Thank you. Yeah, Richard says, stay awake on HF radio shift, doing correspondence courses. Oh, yeah. Yeah, do not use Siri or Alexa. I use my typing and not my voice. Right. Yep.
It's literally the only time I use Siri seriously is when I'm driving and I need to be hands-free but getting stuff done.
Yeah.
Because my job just demands and requires it. I'm literally the only person that uses smart tech at all amongst our pool of drivers.
Yeah.
And often I'm the one having to organize stuff when we're on the road.
Like I said, when the contracts go out on these, we're going back to flip phones.
I don't blame you. They brought flip phones back.
Well, these,
RK, you can actually download current topo maps via GIS. The problem is finding a big enough printer unless you go to somewhere.
Kinko's.
Yeah, Kinko's or Office Max has got the large size printers. That was one thing. I grew up as a kid reading maps, going back to Cub Scouts, and of course doing it for 20 plus years in the military. Real maps, not on a screen, because the crap that we got off the screens in those days just had rough marks as to where land was, and they weren't accurate anyway.
If I don't have the contour lines on a map, it irritates me. If I see a map with no contour lines on it, I feel like I've lost half of what I need, even though I don't need contour lines for what I'm doing to go from here to there. It still just annoys me no end to get a map with no contour lines on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask Siri for your location while you're waiting on a flipping ambush.
That's actually how they're teaching.
Richard, you ain't right.
Well, no, here's the thing. Out at 29 Palms in Fort Irwin, they are teaching young soldiers and Marines, turn your crap off and leave it behind when you go to the field.
Yeah.
Because they're tracking their location on social
Of course
media.
they
No
are.
kidding.
And
Fitbit.
yeah, they're finding these morons out in the middle of nowhere and like, hey, we got you.
Yeah.
And
All right, folks, we've wasted another hour and a couple of minutes of your time.
Oh, good Lord.
Yes, RK, that's a headbanger. Y'all have a good day. We'll be back on Thursday at noon. If we haven't frozen solid by then, although it's supposed to be even colder in the next couple of days.
No kidding.
does this mean Ian becomes a Celtic pop?
Yeah.
Yes.
Richard says, I was signal for Corps. I won't fight and you can't make me.
He said, what?
I was signal Corps. I won't fight and you can't make me. Well, everybody have as good a week as you can. And, unless you absolutely have to be on the media, stay the hell off of it.
Not doing anybody any good.
Nope.
I don't know, Vince, if you put this mug on the screen, you'll break it. Just remember, folks, don't sweat the petty stuff. Don't pet the sweaty stuff. And we'll see you later.
Be safe, guys.
Yuck.
Good to see y'all.